Hello everyone. Today we are going to study about ionic equilibria topic. In 11th class you have learned chemical equilibrium. Many basic concepts you have studied in that chapter. For example, reversible and irreversible process. What is equilibrium? Physical equilibrium, chemical equilibrium, equilibrium constant, factors affecting equilibrium, Lee-Chadley's principle. These are different terms you have learned in detail already. In 12th class, ionic equilibria topic is given for your study. So before initiating the chapter, I would like to brush up some concepts in order to ensure complete understanding of the topic. What is meant by reversible reaction? The reaction which proceeds in both the direction, that is forward as well as reverse, is called as reversible reaction. In the reversible reaction, initially the rate of forward reaction will be moved and with time it falls. Gradually concentration of product increases and product start to unite to form reactants, and slowly rate of conversion of products to reactants increases with time. At one moment during the progress of the reaction, rate of forward becomes equal to rate of backward reaction. This condition arised in the course of a reversible chemical reaction is called chemical equilibrium. Later, there will be no change in the concentration or amounts of reactants and products with time. The concentration of these species becomes constant. That is, concentration of reactants and products becomes constant, and this concentration is called equilibrium concentration, and the equilibrium developed is called dynamic equilibrium. What does it mean actually, dynamic equilibrium? Once the equilibrium is achieved, both the reactions do not stop. They continue to take place but at equal rate. So the concentrations of the species remains constant. They do not stop. They take place in both the direction, but they take place at equal rate. So concentrations of the species becomes constant. So you might have understood reversible and chemical equilibrium as well as dynamic equilibrium. Now see these graphs. From this graph also it becomes clear that with time rate of forward falls and rate of reverse reaction increases, and at one moment during the course of the reaction the rate of forward and rate of reverse becomes equal. Okay? Here in the second one graph, see the amounts of the reactant falls, means concentration of the reactant falls with time and concentration of the product increases with the time, and at one moment during the course of the reaction there will be no more change in the concentrations or amounts of the reactants or product. See, these two lines are becoming parallel to each other. So there is no more increase in the amount or concentration, means there is no change in the equilibrium concentrations. That remains constant with time. So this is called as dynamic equilibrium. Now we will proceed to ionic equilibrium. The equilibrium established between the unionized molecules and the ions in the solution of weak electrolytes is called ionic equilibrium. As this acetic acid undergoes dissociation to form acetate ion and hydrogen ion, and equilibrium is developed between the dissociated ions and undissociated molecule. So it is called ionic equilibrium as ions are there in the equilibrium. See here, ammonium hydroxide is a weak base. It undergoes dissociation to form ammonium ion and hydroxide ion, and there develops a equilibrium between dissociated ions and undissociated molecules. So it is ionic equilibrium. So both the examples are of ionic equilibrium. In particular, we will learn the following equilibria in this chapter. First one is the equilibrium existing in the H plus and OH minus ions and unionized water. So water molecule undergoes ionization to form hydrogen ion and hydroxyl ion, and there establishes the equilibrium. So we are going to study that equilibrium also. Ionization of weak acids and weak bases. Equilibrium in the ionization of weak acids and weak bases. Then equilibrium in the reactions between ions of salt and ions of water. And the equilibrium between solid salt and its ions in water. So these four equilibria we are going to study in this chapter. Before studying these four equilibria, we must know about the water soluble substances. And water soluble substances are of two types, electrolytes and non-electrolytes. Electrolytes furnishes or produces ions in the solution, so are conductors. And non-electrolytes do not furnish ions in the solution, so they are non-conductors. Example, urea and sucrose. Electrolytes again are of two types, strong electrolytes, weak electrolytes. Strong electrolytes gets completely dissociated at any concentration. Example, strong acids, strong bases and salts. Weak acids are partially dissociated, and the example is weak acids and weak bases. So in detail we will study here. Electrolytes are the substances when dissolved in water furnishes ions. The substances which gives ions in the solution are called as the electrolytes. And non-electrolytes are, they do not furnish ions in the solution. They remain undissociated as it is. They do not break into the ions. Electrolytes again are of two types, as I told, strong electrolytes, weak electrolytes. Strong electrolytes dissociation example is given. They undergo complete dissociation. See, sodium chloride is a salt. When added into the water, it undergoes dissociation to form sodium ion and chloride ion. Here arrow which is shown is complete headed arrow. It indicates irreversible process. This is the irreversible process. No equilibrium gets developed. Here complete dissociation is observed. In the potassium hydroxide, it is a strong base. When added into the water, undergoes complete dissociation to form potassium ions and hydroxide ions. So these are the strong electrolytes which undergoes complete dissociation. Weak electrolytes, the substances which undergo partial dissociation in the solution, and there develops an equilibrium between undissociated molecules and dissociated ions. They never undergo complete dissociation. However, the dissociation may increase with the dilution or decrease in the concentration of the solution. Dilution means if we dilute the solution, its concentration decreases. And as the concentration decreases, there is possibility of increase in the dissociation. Number of ions may increase. The solvent loosens the forces between the ions and it sets free ions in the solution. So the example is ammonium hydroxide. Undergoes a dissociation to form ammonium ion and hydroxide ion, and the equilibrium is developed between the ions and undissociated molecule. So weak electrolyte never undergo complete dissociation. Now as weak electrolytes never undergo complete dissociation, up to what extent they get dissociated, to know about that we need a degree of dissociation term. To measure the extent of dissociation, the degree of dissociation term is introduced. It is defined as the fraction of total number of moles of the electrolyte that dissociates into its ions when the equilibrium is attained, and it is denoted by symbol alpha. It is denoted by symbol alpha. Means the number of moles of the electrolyte dissociated to the total number of moles of the electrolyte is called degree of dissociation. See, mathematically it can be written as alpha is equal to number of moles dissociated divided by total number of moles. And once we get the alpha, we can determine percent dissociation also by multiplying alpha with the 100. And also we can determine the concentration of the equilibrium concentration of the ions, cations or anions, by multiplying alpha with the C. C is the concentration of that given electrolyte. So in this way we can determine the equilibrium concentration of ions, cations or anions in that solution. See here, this is an electrolyte, that is acetic acid is a weak electrolyte. Its concentration is given 0.01 molar. It dissociates into these two ions and their equilibrium concentration can be determined by multiplying alpha with that concentration, that is this is 0.01 is the concentration of the electrolyte. Here H plus hydrogen ion concentration also can be determined alpha into C, that is alpha concentration is 0.01 molar. In this way you can determine the equilibrium concentrations of cations and anions.